Hello, fellas of 3D Code Academy. Welcome back in our teaching session of 3D. And today it'll be part 3, where I'll teach how to create a custom shape for a rigging in a Blender. Okay, now that we have completed the rig process and we're painting for our character, it's time to make the rig more animator friendly by adding custom shapes. Custom shapes help us to replace the default bone visuals with a clean, easy to use control objects, making animation faster, clear, and more professional. In this tutorial, I'll guide you step by step how to create your own custom shapes, assign them to the bones, and fine-tuning them for the best visual control layout. Let's get started. You can see where we end up lastly. You see? Okay, let's create a custom shapes for this. Okay, first I'll turn on the screencast keys so you can follow along with me. So you can see in your screen there. Okay, I'll press N again to close that stuff. Okay, I'll select this bones and we go to the edit mode there. First I will select this torso controls. These are our deformer bones. Let's select all these bones. We press M to the new collection. Let's call this a deformer bones, def bones. Okay, press create. Okay, you can see those in our bone selection. We have any deformers. Let's create the controls for this. Okay, I'll start with this spine. Press shift and select all this. All these are our controls for the spine. So I'll shift D, this here, and I want to move this to another layer. Call this let's call forward kinematics and bones, spines control. Okay, let's amend that and recreate that. For this I want to create one thing here. I'm going to select this bone here and I'll press shift D and move this one here. Let's unhide those for kinematic spine control. Let's unhide this. This bone will be our torso control. Let's rename this by press F2. We call the torso control. Okay, select this. This will be our control for these bones here. So I'll select this bone. As you see this bone here, let's go to the pose mode. See this pose bone? When I select this, it will control all the selection there. So I want this bone there, this to be our torso for this. So I'll present this by, we'll name this as a torso control. And this torso, I'll give its property. So I can select this. Let's select this control P and I keep offset. We give a relation to that bone. That would be C. That's if when I go to a pose mode, and I can use this to rotate the part of that. You see, this will be our torso control. And let's select this bone again. Let's go to the edit mode And this pawn, I'll change this to, I'll move to this to the controls pawn. Okay, and I select this pawn again. I press Shift D again, and I move this. And I can rename this as the call it by F2. Call the COG, Central Control Pawn. CGO Control. C. Move this pawn to controls. Let's call this a control. And I can select this pawn there. And I press Shift D. This. And I can call this hip control by renaming F2 hip control. And I can move this to the controls pawns there. Okay, let's see there. I'll start to give the relationship between these pawns there. So I want to create a hip control. So I'll come back there. Let's hide it. I can select the deformer bones and the controls bones there. So let's select this. This is a COG bones. This is a torso. This is a hip control. So the hip control will control this pass of bones here. Select this and this and this, and let's select our hip control, Control P, the keep offset. I thought that we forgot to select the one bone for other side. So whenever I select this COG, then I can move all object with us. And remember that our COG, it will be controlled by this pawn there. This pawn will be our global control. So let's rename that pawn. So we go back to the edit mode and I select this. We rename this global control. And this pawn, I can select this and I put along this side there. So our COG, it will be a child of this global control. So I select the Control P and we keep offset that. See, whenever I select this global control, I can move all our object with this global control. This is what we wanted. So we'll go back there. I select Alt G, Alt R to unclear the transformation and go back to our edit mode. So you see that we have created the hierarchy for all these pawns. So the last thing, we want to go to our default kind of spline controls. So I need to create the relationship between these controls with the deformation bones. The deformer bones are the bones that control these stuffs. So without using the deformer bone, we use our control bone. So we need to share the relationship there. So we'll go back to the pose mode and I can select this bone and let's select this bone there. I press Ctrl Shift C. That is a constraint and we go to the rotation constraint. See, you see that's have a green. That means that we had the already constraint. And we see when we have this yellow, it means that we have an IK constraints with us. So the constraint will change the bone color. So you see, when I rotate this, it will react with this because we constrain. So we select this first, we go select this last with Control Shift C. We do a copy rotation also. I select this to this, Control Shift C, keep rotation also. I will go back and select the, we not use COG there. I select this to this bone, press select, spline one. I'll select this lastly, and press Control Shift C, we copy rotation there. I select this to this, Control Shift C, we copy rotation. I will select this and last select this, Control Shift C, we copy rotation. I select this and let's select this, Control Shift C. We copy rotation. I select this and let's select this, Control Shift C. We copy rotation. So let me select these controls for the IK and try to select some bond groups. Let's call this move with a new collection bonds called this legs control. Call legs control. So we can have a nice and clean. Okay. So let's hide our bones, the former bones. See? Let's hide the forward bones and remain with this. And let's hide the legs. Okay, let's hide the legs. Control. So we remain with those. This is a COG. We have a COG. We also have a torso control. So let me select this. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the F4 kinematics, spine controls also. And for this torso control, I need to have this spine one. Okay, I will select the spine one. Let's select this and we Control P in edit mode so that our spine will be controlled with this keep offset. So let's go to our pose mode and see this. We see? Okay, that's nice. So let's hide our FK controls then. Okay, after creating the relationship with bones and the controls, now is the time of adding custom shapes. So let's create the custom shapes for this for clean and nice animation. Okay, so we go back here and I want to add a global control custom shape. So maybe I go for the top view by press number 7 and I add a mesh which is a 3 cycle. Maybe you can scale up a bit here like that. And I want to create the shapes here for my global. I will select this one here. Lingam G. I want this into direction of our movement. This will be our forward movement. We're here. Want to shape a bit. I want to create a nice look. But for me, that is enough. I might go there, back to our object mode. And we select this bone and I can go to the pose mode and I select this bone. We go for view display for custom shapes in a pose mode. We go back to custom object and we select this. Sorry. Let me rotate to see through. Let me select this cycle. As you created, you see our bone change to this shape, but you see that our shape is in different direction. We need this direction to point forward, so we go back to our edit mode and I can select this, go to the object mode and I select this shape here. Let's move this shape to its collection. I'll press M and a new collection, call this widgets. And I press enter. So we move this shape to our collections, you see, so that we can hide later. So I'll select this shape we created and go to the edit mode. I want this point to point this direction, so I'll select this shape by rotate this in a X direction to 90 to 180, RX 180, and see the direction. So it's flipped its direction to this. So I might select again this direction and I want to align to this y-axis, and I'll rotate along Y, not as such. I'll select R, Z. I want to rotate till I'm satisfied with its direction. I think that's good. And I want to rotate this to align nicely with the Y direction. RY. So I will rotate till I'm satisfied with the direction. Sorry, I press RY. Okay, I'll rotate along Z. Want to align nicely. Okay, I think that I'm satisfied. We might select and R along, rotate along X, so to touch perpendicular like that. So we created nicely, and I can go back to our object mode there, and I select this and turn off this widget. So you can see that I'm a select piece and go to the pose mode, and when you see this and then maybe want to increase its size, we may come down here to our custom properties and scale maybe to 1.5, and here 1.5, and here 1.5. Okay, that's good. You may rotate here if you like. You can align nicely by you rotate these shapes here. It's okay, don't worry it. Try to align nicely to your mesh. So you see that we created this shape here. So when I select this, it acts as a global control in this shape. That will be a nice simple selection and picking for animation. So let's go to other controls there. I will go back to our object mode and do the same as we did for creating of global controls. This, let's go and see. I want to select this is a torso control, this is a COG, and this is a hip control. So let's click the COG here. So I'll go back to the object mode again and add. I want to use a global control as a cube here. So I'll add it as a cube. G along Z, and I'll move forward there. Let's change this to material viewport shading, and I can scale it down like that. And I will go to the edit mode. I can select all these faces and I press X and let's faces on faces and remain with this wireframe. Okay, I go back to the object mode and I can select as bones and go to the pose mode, and I select the COG. I want to create a custom shape for this by selecting this cube then. So you see, I might go there to our object mode and select this and go to the edit mode and try to align it the way I want. So I might go back there. I might scale down. Okay, I want to rotate it. I want to rotate this to Y and sorry. Okay, maybe we're gonna fix it for the pose mode. So let's go to the pose mode, and when I select this, I want to translate along to be this where I translate this. So right there. It is on top that this direction. Okay, maybe that's nice. So I'll go back to our object node and I might select this control there, and I press M and move to the widgets controls. So thus I can hide it. You can see that's when I select this and go to the pose mode. Can I use this control? You see, that's what we want. So I can go back to this shape here. This is a torso control. So I might go to our pose object mode and I'll add another cycle. Shift A and add another cycle. But this time we'll go to edit mode and I'll pick this width. And we'll select this width. Even this. and I press G. I want to move like this. So I'll go back to this mode, and I want to move these two widgets, and I can rename this called spine widget. Okay, let me go back to our hose mode, and I can select this and go for custom object. Let's select this spine widgets. So you see it's in different direction. So we'll go back to our object mode and select as control here, and go to the edit mode. Let's select us, and I want to have a rotation to rotate this outside, not Y. I want to rotate in this direction. Okay, now then I can go back to our object mode and select this spine and hide it. We have this spine control. We go for the pose mode and I select this one. I want to translate this Z direction. No, that's not Z. I'm going to translate in one. That's Y direction. So the X direction. So you can see we have this one thing. Let's translate it nicely. We can try to move this, and I can reduce this size 0.8 and 0.8 and 0.8. You see now. So we can use this to control the torso. You see, this is what we need. And this, you see. Let's create the controls for the hip. Let's create the controls of the hip. We go back to our object mode again, and for the control of hip, let's think about shape. Maybe I'll go to the object mode and add a mesh. Let's see the mesh. Let's use let's use a 3 again here. And for this, let's go for the edit mode. I want to create something special here. I don't want to see this local liking. Okay, maybe like that. And I might select this. Go to this bone here and go to the pose mode, and I can select this. Okay, you see. Let's go back to our object mode and select this one. and go to the edit mode, and I can select all this, and I can rotate in X 90 degree. Try to see it good. And I can go back to the object mode, and for this cycle here, let's move to its widgets, and I can hide this. And for this shape, let's go to the pose mode, and I can select this, and I can translate this right there, and I can rotate a bit, not like that, not like that, maybe like that, just like me. Okay, maybe I can select this and create a color, different color for picking. Let's see, for the spine, let's use green this. And for this color, let's use a type of orange color. For this, let's change the color and use the default blue color. I like to use this. And this, let's use orange yellow color. Okay. You see that we have created these shapes. You can see. And I can move. I can stay still. I can do this stuff like that. Okay, you see what we have created together. So let's continue with us other bones. Let's go for forward bones, and we need to create all these bones like what we did there, and we need to go back and create the bones for those IK controls for the legs. You see, still we have a long way to go with Alt-G, with Alt-R. So let's keep continue with this to get all those controls. So for this, we go back to the object mode, and I want to add a cube there, a plane. Shift A and add a plane. And this plane, let's move this plane to the widgets. Okay. And I can go to the edit mode for this plane, and I can press X and delete all faces, so remain with wireframe. And I can go back to object mode, and I can select these bones and go to the pose mode. I can select this bone here, and I want to create a custom shape for this plane here. So you see, we have this control. So I can size it down. I want to size it to and I can translate this to down like that. So I need these two other bones like that. So I can go back to the pose mode and still use the same plane, and I can see the attributes of this negative 0.4, and for this size 0.9. So I can select this 0.9, and I can translate this in X like that. So you're nice there. I can pick these two, and I can keep select this pen, and I can press this to 0.9, I remember, and this to negative 0.4. Let's try to put this, translate this down a bit there. Like when this, let's translate this down there. And like I keep reducing because of y. I think that's good. And I can do also for this pawn there. Keep the same. So I'll keep the scale the same like that down. Put this to 0.6. And I can translate this to this side there. So for the eye calyx, we are through, you see. I might select this pose here and try to add this, the pole angle direction. So I might go here to our object mode and try to create our new custom shape. Control A, Shift A, and I can add let's use this icosphere. Let's slow it down and move to the new collection called widgets. So I'm gonna select this here, and we're going for the edit modes. Let's see this. Press X and let's on face. We remain with this wire mesh. Let me scale a bit there. We need to go to the pose mode. So select this pawn in the pose mode. So I'm gonna select this to icosphere. You see, this will be our direction. So I need us to increase the size to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. It's okay. So maybe I can translate it to the Z somewhere around there. Maybe I can copy this and align this to this direction, and I can select also the pole target for another leg and we custom shape for this, the same as we did there. And translation is it. I'll paste the translation we did there, and I can put the scale to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. It's just like a repetition of what we did. So I'll move fast, very fast, and I can translate somewhere around there. So if it keep boring you can forward it your video, but this is a step by step. That's why I want to show you everything. So maybe I can translate this to the same value we did there. And I can keep 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. Okay. We can do also for another fold there. Select this icosphere and translation Z. the same, and I put 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5 nicely. So you see this. Maybe I can select this and translate this maybe in the direction. Maybe I'll move a bit there. Okay, something of that kind. Just try to see in which direction. Okay, if that's good. Okay, don't worry much. Those are just the pole targets. So I'll go for this and I hide it. Okay, we are remain with forward kinematics or those spine. So let's go back there and try to do it. We can keep doing manually. Okay, let's go back again. For there I will use a cycle also. So I'll shift A and add a cycle, and I go to the pose mode and I select this phone here. Custom shape, I will use this cycle. I can go back to the edit mode, to the object mode, and I select a cycle, and I move this to the widgets, and I call this spine. Call the spline. Okay, I can select this, go for the edit mode, and I can rotate in RX 90 degree to align that stuff here, you see. So here I can hide it, so we have this instead. So I can go back and select this mode, and for this we can translate this with Z, Ctrl Z, and I can come to this and select this and go to the pose mode. For this I can go and translate that in Z, space, Control, and I can come and translate this in X. Okay, maybe we can scale this to 0.5 and 0.5 and 0.5. So we keep doing the same like what we did there. Oh, let's cancel this. We select the spanning created there, and I can go back and translate this in as X-space, and maybe we can go. You see, it's too far away. And let's go for 0.5. 0.5 and 0.52. You see, we can do also for this pelvic here. I can select this for the spine and I translate back to this. I think that's good. Even scale I think is good. And I'm gonna select this tail here. And I can select for the spine. I think this direction is nicely. Maybe I can translate that to Z. Not to Z. Somewhere around there. And I'll scale down there to 0.3 and 0.3 and 0.3, and I'll try to translate this also somewhere around there. Yeah, keep aligning this. Let's do the same for this. Tail number 2, we go for the spine, and let's see we did what we did there. I can copy the location of that and I can select this. We can put the same translation location. Okay, and for this form here I can keep 0.3 and this 0.3 scale, and also this 0.3 scale, so we can move between those shapes here. I can do the same, keep doing the same thing. Doing the same thing is boring, but we don't know. We don't have any way. We don't have any choice but keep repeating the same forces. Maybe here you can keep 0.5. I think that's the shape is too small. 0.5. And then we can translate that. Use red. I can make it go color like that. Okay, we remain with those of neck and the head. So for the neck, I want to use the same spine. Control. I can move this just like that. Go to 0.5, 0.5. and 0.5. and I'll keep move that stuff down there. Maybe that's good. And for the head, I want to use the rectangle. So I'll review this and try to see through each event. That's fine. I want to use the cube. Okay. For this, I'll use the cube there. And maybe I will rotate this. Maybe let's press number 1. Character 0. Undo that. Zero. Maybe keep this to 90 degree, and I can translate this. Okay. Control Z. Let's keep this, keep 90. Get that to 0. Maybe I can rotate like this, and I can translate this. And I can translate this to this. Okay. Maybe that's good. So you see that we have through with creating custom shapes. So you can see this. I might select this bone spine in there. Try to rotate this. It works nicely. You see? You see? So we already created all those custom shapes. So let's end this particular interaction for today, where we create the custom shapes. And next tutorial will be working on animations. So I think that's really good. So see you next time. It's 3D Code Academy. Ciao.